In 1870, America was a geographically isolated country. During the last 3 decades of the 19th century, Americans occupied a much larger portion of the country's land than during the 3 previous centuries. The saturation of railways was key to this important geographic change. Prior to 1865, railways did not reach west of the Mississippi River. Although Congress had approved the building of a transcontinental railroad in 1850, the North and South delayed construction with disputes concerning route access. After the Southern states seceded from the Union in 1861, the North gained control of the project, securing a central route. Shortly thereafter, Congress authorized the Central Pacific and the Union Pacific Railroads to build lines meeting each other in Sacramento and Omaha. The Union Pacific workforce included Irish immigrants, Civil War soldiers, and Southern African Americans. From the west, Chinese laborers of the Central Pacific Railway set out to meet them from California. In May of 1869, the 2 railways met at Promontory Point, Utah, where leaflets and banners invited Americans to ride all the way to San Francisco. When Chief Engineers Samuel Montague and Grenville Dodge shook hands, the moment marked the opening of the way to the West. The economic consequence of the railroads was immeasurable. When engine power moved from wood to coal, the demand for coal tripled. When rails moved beyond iron to steel, the modern steel industry evolved. Many other industries emerged as well. Notably, the refrigerated freight car, developed in partnership with Gustav Swift, gave birth to the meatpacking industry. And the grain, lumber, and steel industries virtually exploded as new railways transported huge resources to towns, cities, and ports across the country. The growth of the railroad was astounding. In 1870, there were 57,000 miles of railroad track in the continental U.S. By 1890, this figure had grown to nearly 167,000 miles. Innovations in the railroad network, such as the air brake and sleeping cars, made rail travel smoother, safer, and more comfortable. But the most dramatic change in the railroads was spurred on by something new.